The emotion hidden behind the door, you hear the sound of keys outside the door. Before you even step inside, your cat is already there, waiting, alert, sometimes pacing through the house, sometimes sitting frozen near the entrance as if they sensed your arrival long before you actually appeared. Then the door opens, and suddenly they rush toward you with an intensity that feels almost desperate. Some cats meow non-stop. Others rub against your legs, circle around your feet, or follow you from room to room without letting you out of sight for even a second. And almost every owner believes the same thing: my cat just missed me. But what if that explanation is only scratching the surface? Because specialists in feline behavior explain that cats rarely display intense reactions without a deeper emotional reason behind them. What looks like simple excitement may actually be a silent psychological response connected to routine, security, emotional attachment, and survival instincts that most humans never notice. Cats are creatures deeply attached to environmental stability. Researchers observed that even small changes inside the home can alter a cat's emotional state for hours. Your presence is part of that stability. When you leave the house, the environment changes in ways your cat immediately feels. The smells become weaker, the sounds become unfamiliar. The emotional rhythm of the territory shifts. To you, leaving home for a few hours feels normal. To your cat, something important disappeared from the environment. And this is where the behavior becomes fascinating. Many cats spend the day appearing completely calm. They sleep, stretch, look through windows, and act emotionally distant. But studies of feline routines show that cats constantly monitor patterns around them without making it obvious. Their brain quietly tracks sounds, light changes, movement outside the house, and even approximate schedules connected to your daily habits. That's why some cats seem to know you are about to arrive before there is any obvious sign. Experts in animal cognition explain that cats create powerful associations between time, environmental signals, and emotional expectation. The sound of an elevator, a car door outside, footsteps in the hallway, the vibration near the entrance. Tiny details humans ignore can activate anticipation inside the feline mind. And when enough of those signals begin to align, something changes instantly inside them. Their pupils widen, their body becomes alert, their attention sharpens. It is almost as if their entire nervous system switches into preparation mode, waiting for one specific thing: your return. But the most surprising part is this: your cat may not only be happy that you are home, they may actually feel relief. Because in the silent emotional world of cats, your return can represent something much deeper than affection. It can represent the moment the territory feels complete, predictable, and emotionally safe again. And once you understand what is truly happening inside your cat during those moments near the door, you begin to realize that their desperate reaction was never random at all. Your cat doesn't experience time like you do. Humans understand time through clocks, schedules, and numbers. Cats do not. Your cat has no idea what 2 hours or 8 hours means. Yet somehow, many cats know exactly when you are supposed to come home. And when you are late, their behavior often changes long before you even walk through the door. This is one of the most mysterious things researchers discovered about feline behavior. Cats experience time through patterns, repetition, emotional expectation, and environmental changes. Their brain constantly absorbs small details humans barely notice. The position of sunlight inside the room, the sounds coming from outside, the activity level in the house, even the gradual disappearance of your scent throughout the day becomes information your cat silently processes. Studies of animal routines show that cats build internal predictions based on repeated experiences. When you leave home every morning and return at similar times, your cat slowly transforms your routine into an emotional certainty. Your arrival becomes part of the structure of their day, and this changes everything, because the desperate behavior many owners see when they get home often begins hours earlier. It is built gradually through anticipation. Some cats become more alert near the time their owner usually returns. Others position themselves near windows, doors, or hallways without any obvious reason. Researchers observed that cats frequently enter a state of increased environmental monitoring before expected events happen, especially when those events are emotionally important to them. Your cat may look relaxed on the outside while secretly waiting for signals connected to you. And the most fascinating part is how precise this anticipation can become. Specialists in feline cognition explain that cats memorize recurring environmental patterns with incredible sensitivity. The sound of an elevator stopping on your floor, the footsteps outside the apartment, the vibration of a garage door, the distant sound of your car engine. Over time, these signals become emotionally charged triggers inside the feline brain. That is why some cats suddenly run toward the door before their owner even touches the handle. Not because they heard better than humans, but because their mind has been preparing for your return through a chain of familiar signals connected to emotional expectation. And when that expectation is broken, the emotional effect can be surprisingly strong. Experts noticed that cats living with highly predictable routines may become anxious or restless when their owner returns later than usual. Some vocalize more, some pace through the house. Others repeatedly check the same locations as if trying to understand why the expected pattern failed. This reveals something most people never realize about cats. They are far more emotionally attached to routine than they appear. Your return home is not just a random happy moment in their day, it is a psychological event their mind has been preparing for long before you even arrive. And once you understand that your cat experiences absence through anticipation instead of clock time, their reaction at the door suddenly becomes much more emotional than most people ever imagined. The secret survival instinct most owners never notice. Most people believe their cat runs toward them because of affection alone, but feline behavior specialists explain that another force is often hidden beneath that emotional reaction: survival instinct. Cats may live comfortably inside modern homes, but their brain still carries ancient instincts shaped by territory, protection, and environmental control. And this changes the way they experience your absence far more than most owners realize. To a cat, the home is not just a place to sleep, it is a controlled territory. Every smell, every sound, every object placement becomes part of an invisible map that helps them feel safe. Researchers observed that cats constantly monitor changes inside their environment because stability means security in the feline mind. And, strangely enough, you are part of that stability: your scent, your voice, your movement patterns. Your daily presence inside the house all become emotional anchors connected to safety. When you suddenly disappear for hours, the environment changes in ways your cat cannot fully control. The territory no longer feels complete. This is why some cats become unusually alert after their owner leaves home. Experts in animal behavior explain that cats often enter a higher state of environmental monitoring when important social figures disappear from the territory. Even if they appear calm on the surface, their brain becomes more sensitive to sounds, movement, and unfamiliar changes around them. And the longer this state lasts, the stronger the emotional release may become when you finally return. That desperate reaction near the door may actually contain relief. Relief that the territory feels normal again. Relief that the familiar scent returned. Relief that the emotional balance of the environment has been restored. This also explains why many cats immediately begin rubbing against their owner after they arrive home. Most people interpret this as simple affection, but researchers observed that scent exchange plays a powerful role in feline emotional regulation. Cats use facial glands to spread familiar scent markers onto people and objects they trust. In other words, your cat may be trying to reclaim the emotional safety connected to your presence. And there is another detail that makes this behavior even more fascinating. Some cats do not simply greet their owner. They inspect them. They smell your clothes intensely. They follow you silently from room to room. They remain hyper-aware of your movements for several minutes after you arrive. Specialists explain that this behavior may come from the cat's need to confirm that everything is emotionally and territorially stable again. It is almost as if your cat is verifying that the environment is safe now that you have returned. And once you begin looking at the situation through the eyes of instinct instead of human emotion, the behavior suddenly feels very different. Your cat may not only be excited to see you, they may feel that an important part of their world has finally come back into place. Why some cats follow you immediately after you arrive? You walk through the door, and within seconds, your cat starts following you everywhere. To the kitchen, to the bedroom, to the bathroom. Sometimes they stay so close, it almost feels impossible to take a single step without them appearing beside you again. And the strange part is that many cats do this silently, staring, observing, almost as if they are trying to confirm something. Most owners think this behavior is random affection, but specialists in feline behavior explain that something much deeper may be happening during those first minutes after you return home. Cats are extremely sensitive to absence and reconnection. Researchers observed that when an important social figure disappears from the environment for several hours, many cats experience a temporary interruption in their emotional routine. And when that person finally returns, the cat often enters a phase of behavioral reconnection. That is why some cats suddenly become inseparable from their owner right after they arrive home. It is not only excitement, it is emotional reassurance. Your cat may be trying to confirm that you are truly back, that your scent is familiar again, that your movements feel normal, and that the emotional rhythm of the territory has stabilized once more. And one of the ways cats do this is through silent monitoring. Experts explain that cats gather information constantly through observation. When they follow you after you get home, they are not simply walking around. They are reading your energy, your scent, your emotional state, and your movement patterns. This is why some cats seem unusually focused on you during those moments, almost unable to look away. To humans, this may feel adorable. To cats, it can feel necessary. Researchers studying feline attachment noticed that strongly bonded cats often seek proximity after periods of separation, especially during the first minutes of reunion. Some cats rub against their owner repeatedly. Others walk ahead and look back to make sure the human is still following. Some even guide their owner towards specific rooms, almost as if they are saying, "Everything is normal again. Come with me." And then there are the cats that refuse to leave your side at all. These cats may jump onto furniture near you, sit beside your feet, or quietly remain in the same room no matter where you go. Specialists believe this behavior may come from a temporary emotional need to restore social connection after separation. But there is another hidden reason this behavior feels so intense. Cats are highly dependent on familiarity. While humans reconnect through conversation, cats reconnect through presence, through scent, through visual confirmation, through physical proximity. Your cat does not need words to feel emotionally close to you. They need access to you. That is why some cats continue following their owner long after the initial excitement disappears. They are slowly regulating themselves emotionally through your presence. And once you realize your cat may be silently reconnecting with you after every separation, those quiet footsteps following you through the house begin to feel much more meaningful than they first appeared. The difference between love and emotional dependency: most people feel flattered when their cat becomes desperate the moment they get home. The loud meows, the frantic rubbing, the constant need for attention all seem like pure affection. And sometimes, they are. Experts in feline behavior warn that there is a very thin line between healthy attachment and emotional dependency. And many owners never realize when that line has been crossed. Cats are naturally independent animals in many ways, but research shows that some cats form extremely intense emotional bonds with specific humans. In these cases, the owner does not simply become a companion. They become the cat's primary source of emotional regulation, predictability, and security. That changes the meaning behind the reunion completely. Because for some cats, your return home does not only create happiness, it ends stress. Specialists observed that emotionally dependent cats often display signs of silent anxiety during separation. Some become unusually vocal after being alone for long periods. Others overgroom themselves, sleep excessively, pace around the house, or remain hyper-alert to sounds connected to the owner's possible return. And the most surprising part is that many of these behaviors are so subtle that owners mistake them for normal feline personality traits. Researchers studying feline separation anxiety explain that cats rarely express distress the same way dogs do. Instead of obvious panic, their stress often appears through repetitive routines, behavioral changes, increased clinginess, or sudden emotional intensity during reunions. That is why some cats seem almost overwhelmed when their owner finally walks through the door. The loud crying, the frantic movements, The desperate need to stay physically close? Sometimes this is not just excitement. Sometimes it is emotional release after hours of tension. And many owners unknowingly reinforce the cycle without realizing it. When a cat receives intense emotional stimulation every single time the owner returns, the reunion itself can become emotionally addictive. The cat begins building its entire emotional rhythm around absence and return. Over time, the owner's presence starts functioning almost like a stabilizing force for the cat's nervous system. This is why some cats appear unable to fully relax until their human comes home. Experts also noticed that emotionally dependent cats tend to monitor their owners more closely throughout the day. They follow them constantly, sleep nearby, react strongly to closed doors, and become unusually attentive to signs of departure like shoes, keys, or bags. To humans, these behaviors often look sweet, but in some cases, they reveal something much deeper happening silently inside the cat, a fear of disconnection. And this is what makes feline attachment so emotionally powerful. Cats are masters at hiding vulnerability. In nature, emotional weakness could become dangerous. That is why most cats conceal discomfort, fear, and emotional stress whenever possible. So when a cat openly shows desperation at your return, you may be witnessing one of the rare moments where their emotional dependence becomes impossible to hide. And once you understand the difference between love and emotional reliance, your cat's reaction at the door begins to carry a completely different meaning. The strange things your cat does right after you get home, the moment you walk through the door. Your cat suddenly starts doing things that seem strange, random, or even ridiculous. They throw themselves onto the floor. They sprint across the house for no apparent reason. They meow loudly while staring directly at you. Some cats roll onto their back and expose their stomach. Others begin rubbing their face against furniture, walls, corners, and even objects they completely ignored all day. And most people never stop to ask one important question. Why does all of this happen immediately after you come home? Experts in feline behavior explain that these reactions are not random bursts of energy. Many of them are deeply connected to emotional release, territorial reassurance, and social communication. Take the sudden rolling on the floor, for example. Most owners think their cat is simply being playful or dramatic. But researchers observed that cats often expose their body when they feel emotionally safe after a period of alertness or tension. The moment you return home may create a strong feeling of comfort and relief, causing the cat's body language to suddenly soften. In other words, your cat may not be acting weird, they may be decompressing emotionally. And then there are the intense meows. Some cats become unusually vocal the second their owner arrives. They walk around the house crying loudly as if they are trying to explain something urgent. Specialists believe many cats use vocalization during reunions as a form of emotional release and social reconnection. Domestic cats developed more vocal communication with humans than with other cats, especially when emotionally attached. It is almost like your cat is unloading hours of silent emotional tension all at once. Then comes one of the strangest behaviors of all, sudden bursts of running. 1 second your cat is rubbing against your legs. The next, they explode through the hallway at full speed before racing back toward you again. Researchers sometimes call these reunions zoomies. The release of emotional stimulation after anticipation can create a sudden surge of nervous energy in highly attached cats. And there is another behavior most people completely misunderstand. When cats rub their face against furniture or objects after you get home, they are often restoring familiar scent markers throughout the environment. Experts explain that scent is one of the main ways cats emotionally organize their territory. Your return changes the sensory atmosphere of the house, and many cats instinctively respond by remarking parts of the environment with calming familiar scents. But perhaps the most emotional behavior happens when your cat tries to lead you somewhere. Some cats immediately walk toward another room while constantly looking back to see if you are following them. Many owners think this is meaningless. Yet researchers observed that cats frequently guide trusted humans toward emotionally important locations, like resting spots, feeding areas, or places connected to comfort and security. It is a silent form of communication most humans never notice. Your cat may actually be trying to reconnect you to their world after hours apart. And once you begin seeing these strange little behaviors as emotional signals instead of random habits, your cat's reunion rituals suddenly start revealing an entire hidden language that was always happening right in front of you. Your cat may have created a ritual around you. Most people think their cat's reaction when they come home is spontaneous, but if you pay close attention, you may notice something unsettling. Your cat often does the exact same sequence of behaviors every single day. The same waiting spot near the door, the same meow, the same movement around your legs. The same moment they walk toward a specific room and look back at you. And according to specialists in feline behavior, this is not coincidence at all. Cats are deeply ritualistic animals. Researchers observed that many cats build emotional routines around the people they trust most, especially when those routines provide predictability, comfort, and psychological stability. Over time, your arrival home can become one of the most important emotional rituals in your cat's entire life. And the frightening part is how detailed these rituals can become. Your cat may memorize the exact sound of your footsteps outside the house, the rhythm of your keys, the vibration near the door, even the time your scent usually returns to the environment. Experts explain that cats constantly create associations between repeated sensory patterns and emotional outcomes. That means your cat is not simply reacting to your presence. They are reacting to a sequence their brain has emotionally rehearsed hundreds of times before. This is why some cats seem almost disturbed when the ritual changes unexpectedly. If you come home later than usual, ignore the greeting, or enter the house differently. Some cats become confused, vocal, restless, or unusually clingy. Researchers studying feline routines noticed that emotionally attached cats often rely heavily on predictable reunion patterns to maintain a sense of stability. Your arrival is not just a moment, it is part of a psychological structure your cat depends on. And once the ritual begins, many cats feel compelled to complete it fully. That is why some cats insist on rubbing against you first before relaxing. Others demand immediate eye contact, vocal interaction, or physical proximity. Some cats even wait until you sit in a familiar spot before their body finally relaxes completely. To humans, these actions may seem small. To your cat, they may represent emotional confirmation that everything is back in its proper place. Researchers also discovered that cats form powerful emotional memories around repeated daily experiences. Positive routines strengthen feelings of safety and attachment inside the feline brain. Over time, your return home stops being a simple event and becomes something emotionally symbolic, a signal that the environment is stable again, a signal that the social bond is intact, a signal that the day can finally feel complete. And perhaps the most fascinating part is this. Your cat may know more about your routine than you know yourself. They may recognize patterns you have never consciously noticed. The speed of your steps when you are tired, the different sounds you make when carrying bags, the subtle emotional energy you bring into the house after a difficult day. Experts explain that cats are extraordinary observers of emotional consistency. They quietly study the habits of the humans they trust until those habits become woven into their own emotional world. And once you realize your cat may have built an entire daily ritual around your return, those moments near the door stop feeling random completely. They begin to feel deeply personal. The real reason this behavior feels so emotional, there is a reason your cat's reaction when you come home feels strangely powerful, stronger than most people expect from an animal famous for being independent, distant, and emotionally unreadable. Because in those few seconds near the door, your cat reveals something they normally spend their entire life trying to hide: emotional vulnerability. Cats are naturally cautious about exposing emotional dependence. Researchers explain that feline survival instincts evolved around control, observation, and concealment. In the wild, showing weakness too openly could attract danger. That is why cats instinctively hide pain, stress, fear, and emotional discomfort whenever possible, which makes their behavior during reunions so unusual. When your cat runs toward you desperately, cries loudly, rubs against you repeatedly, or refuses to leave your side after you return home, you are witnessing a rare moment where emotional restraint temporarily disappears, and humans feel that instinctively. Even people who know very little about cats can sense that something real is happening during those moments. Because, unlike many other behaviors cats display throughout the day, reunion behavior often feels emotionally honest, unfiltered, almost impossible for the cat to fully control. Specialists in animal attachment explain that strongly bonded cats frequently experience emotional regulation through trusted social contact. Your voice, scent, movement, and presence can genuinely calm their nervous system. This is one reason some cats visibly relax minutes after their owner gets home. Their breathing slows, their body softens, their vigilance decreases. It is as if their mind finally receives confirmation that everything is safe again. And this emotional shift affects humans more deeply than they realize. Researchers studying human-animal bonds discovered that people naturally respond emotionally to signs of attachment from animals, especially when those signs appear spontaneous and sincere. The reason your cat's desperate greeting feels so meaningful is because it breaks the emotional stereotype people have about cats. Most humans expect dogs to show obvious affection. They do not expect it from cats. So when a cat openly demonstrates emotional urgency, the moment feels intensely personal, almost intimate. And there is another reason this behavior affects people so strongly. Cats choose vulnerability very carefully. Unlike animals that constantly seek social interaction, cats are selective with emotional exposure. They observe quietly before trusting deeply. That is why experts often describe feline attachment as subtle but extremely genuine once it forms. Your cat may spend most of the day acting calm, independent, and emotionally untouchable. But the moment you return home, their behavior reveals a hidden truth. Your presence matters more to them than they know how to express. And perhaps that is why these reunions feel so emotional to humans. Because, for a few seconds, the emotional mask cats wear so naturally begins to disappear. And underneath that mask is something most people never expected to see from a cat at all. Need, attachment, relief, and a silent form of love that only appears when the person they trust finally comes back through the door. The thing your cat can't say out loud. Your cat will probably never say they missed you. They will never explain what they felt while the house stayed quiet without you there. They will never tell you how many small sounds they monitored during the day, or how many times they unconsciously checked the environment, waiting for familiar signals connected to your return, but their body says it for them. The sudden sprint toward the door, the desperate meows, the intense stare, the need to stay close to you after you walk inside. None of these reactions happen by accident. Researchers who study feline attachment explain that cats form emotional associations much deeper than most people imagine. The difference is that cats express those emotions silently through rituals, routines, scent, movement, and presence. Instead of obvious displays, humans immediately recognize. That is why so many owners misunderstand what they are seeing. They think the cat is simply excited. But often, the emotion runs much deeper than excitement. Your return may represent emotional stability being restored, the territory feeling complete again, the end of silent tension your cat carried throughout the day without showing it openly. And perhaps the most beautiful part is that cats do not fake emotional energy. Specialists in animal behavior explain that feline trust is selective and difficult to earn. Cats observe carefully before emotionally attaching themselves to someone. That is why their reactions can feel so powerful once the bond becomes real. Because when a cat openly reveals attachment, it is usually sincere. Your cat may act independent most of the time. They may sleep alone, disappear into another room for hours, or pretend not to care about attention. But the moment you leave and return, another side of them appears, a quieter side, a more vulnerable side. A side that reveals how deeply your existence became part of their emotional world. And maybe that is why these reunions affect humans so strongly. For a few seconds near the door, your cat stops hiding what they feel. The emotional distance disappears. The careful independence fades, and what remains is something honest. A living creature silently telling you that your presence changes the way their world feels. So the next time your cat seems desperate when you come home, pay attention carefully. Because you may not be witnessing simple excitement at all. You may be witnessing relief. Relief that the familiar voice returned. Relief that the territory feels safe again. Relief that the person they quietly built part of their emotional world around is finally back where they belong. And in the silent language of cats, that may be one of the deepest forms of attachment they can possibly show.